G'day friends and fans, welcome to Tabletop News. I'm your host, the author David Applegate, and we'll start today, of course, with my favourite site, the Bundle of Holding. First offer is the Shadowdark Compatible Bundle. All new recent sourcebooks and adventures from indie designers, all compatible with Shadowdark old school dungeon crawls. Now, of course, this does require the Shadowdark rulebook. Now, Shadowdark was a record-shattering Kickstarter, which proves well beyond a doubt that it's not tabletop gaming that's the problem. It's the modern interpreted versions of once beloved franchises that are no longer the franchises that people love. Right? You change the product too much and it's not going to be the product that people loved. Right? You don't chase a new audience. Right? You chase the audience you have and hope that they bring in new people. And that's what Shadowdark has done. They've brought new people in to Shadowdark old school revival, right? It wouldn't be an old school revival if D&D didn't nuke itself not once, but multiple times. Each time chipping away at the fan base. But old school is old. It's not entirely new, right? 50 years of innovation shows you that you can have a long-lasting franchise. Now, of course, you may need Shadowdark. If you haven't got Shadowdark, you can actually get a free quick starter set from Drive-Thru RPG. But for $17.95, you get this Dark collection, right? Shadowdark below, a 19-level dungeon. Dark Visions. Right, to straight as black as the hell with a hot, right, descend to central shaft. Now, this is a concept called Down Below. It's a catacomb / dungeons full of a lost civilization. And you figure out what's down there. And spend, could be, right, a good part of your life basically defending above from down below. How long your life is, of course, depends on your skill. Not as a player, not the character skills, but your player's skills. The whole point of Grimdark is to challenge, but it is a eventual dark ending. Dark Visions is about the occult character class. Right, you have the Cultist, the Inquisitor, Covenant Knight, right, 16 cult dominions, encounters, creatures, plot generators, 2-part adventure, and spells. Tower of Six is the final section of the adventure that began in Dark Visions. The Tower of Six, the Keeper stirs, his followers make ready. They are gathering artifacts from across the region, preparing to break the chains of their Dark God's avatar and set it loose on the world. These adventurers form a campaign that takes beginning level Shadowdark characters and tests them. Well, kills them needlessly. Did I say needlessly? I meant to say hilariously. The devoured labyrinth. Remains of the ancient once prosperous kingdom of Fiordom is buried by jungle. Recently discovered, the route through the goblin-infested peaks to the jungle beyond. Now explorers enter the area seeking fortune. Well, they're going to find death or glory or gold. So whatever your motivation is, you have detailed encounters, caverns, tombs, an enormous floating skull, and another sequence of encounters woven through the adventure to reveal the backstory of the fall of Fiordom. Shadowdark the Horde. Classic hordes such as orcs and golems are ready to be set loose. Are you brave enough to wreak havoc? Because these pleasant chaps are out for a good time, whether they're going to be pub crawling or honouring their ancestors, engaged in rituals, or coming up with poisons, potions, diseases, new magic, and of course there's new classes, new monsters, war machines, and of course armies. So Horde, an orc good time. The most goblin of goblins would only dare walk through that valley. The Barbarian Adventures. Robert E. Howard he was a prolific writer and created a reinterpretation of European fantasy in Weird Tales. However, Weird Tales didn't renew their copyright. They let it lapse, and early Conan stories are now public domain. Barbarian Adventures is a collection of those stories as Shadowdark Adventures. So, feel like getting your Barbarian on? Taking on the hordes of the mindless cultists and the jungles of Hyboria? Or the dark wizards in the back alleys, the worship of the great serpent? Good times, eh? Don't forget, James L. Jones was the bad guy! Treasures from the Dark. 100 magical items featuring armor, weapons, and miscellaneous items to increase your power, and progressing items that increase in power as well. And of course, for hilarity, there are cursed items. Which section do we start with? Well, this is Grimdark. There are only cursed items. I love Grimdark, but I think it's, for me personally, I can do the jokes, but it's not something. No. It's for me like fine wine, right? It's something you have occasionally. Right? This is for a good stormy weekend where the players are going, oh, my castles are overrun with treasure. I'm bored. I can kill 12 dragons. And you pull out the horde and say, okay, those 12 dragons just hired a mercenary army of orcs to take back their treasure. Defend your castle. So this is an amazing pack with an amazing value, $17.95. You can't even get a Happy Meal for that. Well, you can in Australia, but it's getting close. All right. Bundle 4-2. Number 4. This is the 4th collection of duet RPGs. This is a collection of 7 quick games for duet. So, for $9.95, you get a collection of duet collections. A little bit of French never hurt you. It's just when you get involved with the French that hurts you. Just in time for Valentine's Day, a fresh assortment of tabletop games for $2. And did I say $2? I mean, how to ruin a relationship. For $9.95, you get this whole collection, DRM-free. Great for friends on the weekend. Come, well, you got 7, so you got 7 weekends of fun. There's a monument. Okay. Chiron's Doom. It's a monument at the edge of civilization. An enigmatic structure known as Chiron's Doom, which nobody seems to know what it does, who made it, or why. It's defied all previous attempts at understanding. Countless explorations have torn themselves apart trying to learn its secrets. But there's no reason to believe your expedition will be any different. But here you are, standing before the monument, driven to try where all others have failed. How much are you willing to sacrifice to solve the mystery of Chiron's Doom? It's a storytelling game about an ill-fated expedition to explore a mysterious monument. Designed as a solo experience, Chiron's Doom can accommodate up to 3 players. All you need is a deck of cards. Now, this is based on a book about a sinister alien monument and is inspired itself by Cube 2001, Event Horizons. Give you some idea. Event Horizons was actually banned for a while for how bloody it got. I have the high ground. Let's face it, dueling is fun. You know it's more fun than combat. That slow duel that takes place before the damage is done, before the first blow is even struck. The word and wit, the melodramatic motions, the threatening mannerisms. I have totally rewritten this description, of course. But this is an elaborate storytelling about players that want to get it on and cross swords. Trust me, you never want to cross swords. Do not let the streams cross, ever! But for those who want to simulate combat, this game is competitive fencing. Moves in secret, choices to be revealed, the winner taking the opportunity to flaunt their bravado. Look at me, I flick the blade. And I trimmed his moustache. Whether it's to the death or a portrait of smouldering tension between 2 posers who want to risk their pride, their reputation, or even their lives to have bragging rights to fellow braggarts, to say, I survived my tomfoolery. You know what? It does sound good. Despite the mockery, alright, you can like something and mock it, you know. It's quite funny. But it doesn't mean I dislike it. I just think the description was off and should have been funnier. Now, Insatiable Cravings is a card game. One plays the ravenous monster, and the other one decides whether you're going to eat the meal or be the meal maker. So you got monster and meal. Oh, but the meal is an admirer, and they're trying to cook you something nourishing or perhaps deadly. This is a game of bluff, courting, and finding a way to someone's heart through their stomach or from their ribcage. A once-off, neither here nor there game where you can have a lot of fun making fun of each other. What's more friendship than making fun of each other? Well, $1 Million Soulmate. Well, that's it, isn't it? The recipe for conflict. The pursuit of a mate. But however, someone else is offering something you cannot. And you now have to weigh isolation or, well, what's a soulmate? This is about romantic ambiguity. Well, they have to throw one in. It is Valentine's Day. Now, of course, we have the true outcome of Valentine's Day. Horror! Inspired by works of such as Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, Robert Louis Stevenson's Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. A modern Prometheus is a gothic horror role-playing game for 2 players on the mobile frame Zero Friarbands framework by D. Vincent Baker and Megany Baker from Luplay Games. One plays the scientist, meddling with dark forces, and the other is the player, the creation. Together, you and your creation discover who is the real human and who is the real monster. That's easy. She is. Moving on. This should never be played between couples. Trust me. You'll bring out the monster. Still, one must do their best. No, these are great for friends who really bust each other's balls, right? Not for couples, okay? Do the game designers actually understand the fragility of women's ego? I guess not. Maybe they have a partner who isn't a ravenous monster, jealous monster. But no, I would tell you that I'd greatly advise you, this is for ball busters, okay? You'd have a great time as ball busters, breaking each other's balls. Look at this one, retired, right? You're finally hanging up your supervillain coat. But guess what? Once you've hung up your costume, sealed the secret closet, hang my white sheet and close the door. And someone said, "You call that a supervillain?" I call that a superhero. Yes, one man's superhero is another man's supervillain. But there's trouble, and they want you to bring you out of retirement. So this is the life of this is the ordinary life of a former supervillain. A 2-player game where you're retired and the other one is a narrator on the world that is out to set you, well, make you miserable through banality, through the ever-nagging, boring, mundane life. In other words, there's the retiree and there's the Karen from the Homeowners Association. You didn't clip your hedges. You didn't trim your lawn. You have leaves in your gutter. Oh, this is for the ballbusters. You have nosy neighbours, chores, which always get out of hand. Sounds like Postal 2. I just wanted goat's milk. Next thing you know, we're having a jihad in the but I'm a crusader. Alright, so you have nosy neighbours, chores to do, things will get out of hand, former rivals, only an invasion. In retirement, it's not just going to be you and your garden. Former Dark Lord, where, fantasy realm has been vanquished by the former good, and you're now just trying to get by. Yeah. Hello, honey. Yes, they tried to make a TV show. Hello. Yeah, I can't say that word. Hello, Mr. H. Hello, honey, I'm home. Yeah, that didn't go down well. But the ordinary life of a supervillain is hilarious for ballbusters. Stealing your heart, a romantic heist game. Precarious game of love? Correct. Precarious. We act with great care. In other words, walk on eggshells around her, impress her family, show your worth, i.e. how much you're physically worth, and capture their heart. Bribe them. But however, you're a thief. They're the target. There's lots of money to be made. Oh, it's a love con. You're stealing her heart so you can steal her fortune. Ah, yes. The Swindler's Guide to Getting Rich. All right. Enough tomfoolery. Moving on. Neon City Overdrive. You liked Cyberpunk, Shadowrun, Morkborg, which does have a cyberpunk component. I can't think what else at the moment is up there, but Neon City Overdrive is an interesting, fast-paced cyberpunk role-playing game for only $9.95. This gives you the entire collection in one bundle. Now, this is a lightweight, quick-playing, free-form, universal RPG with elements inspired by Fate and Blades in the Dark. Welcome to the city. Pardon me. Alright, kids, don't smoke. Moving on. If you're looking for a lean design that cuts like a monofilament whip and runs as fast as the Stellagama, give this game a try. This is the best cyberpunk game you're not playing right now, according to Eon World. Alright, this is a slick metroplex, your typical neon wasteland, where everybody's a cog in the machine, distracted from their lives by slick consumerism and invasive media. But despite all that, you're an individual with valuable skills. You put your life on the line for cash, although can be for reputation. or leverage. However, with a little effort and a lot of luck, you can survive the dangerous streets, achieve your goals, and escape this life of trouble. Again, this is a action story cyberpunk RPG where there are D6 dice pools to be made and rolled. Now the grid. Well, this is the neon highway of the virtual world. Hackers, coastlingers, AIs call it home. It's an unavoidable spectre that watches and controls the unwary. The grid expands the world of Neon Overdrive with new options, new enemies, new story hooks. Takes your game from the streets into the digitized world. Learn about technology, holograms, data hubs, private networks, interface gear, run the digital streets, hang out in the underwire, marvel at the mysterious beam, or ride the information superhighway that is the ribbon. Watch out for data storms, obliques, defy grid cops and gate guardians, and avoid the dreaded black ice. Yada yada yada, whole bunch of stuff for role-playing artificial intelligence, specific conditions and traumas, and technology as gear. Well, grid technology as gear. Well, yeah, of course. Yeah, virtual gear. Get it. Skin jobs. Oh, you know what a skin job is, right? An artificial human. Right? Ghost chips. They're game changers. They enable you to reskin, promising virtual immortality. Right? Ghost chips and skins. Right? Reskinning, transferring your flaws and traumas. Now, these trademarks are obviously, let's say, well, you got bioroids, androids, thyreoids, gene hacks, and more, venture seeds. So you have a state-of-the-art skin, right? Characters steal it, and then have to escape the gangs, the gunships, and tower defenses. Yeah. Artificial humans. Dolls with chips based on humans who thought they're going to live forever. But no, it's just stealing your... well, they call them engrams. These are your personality decision making processes in your brain. Right? You've all seen, or at least heard of, the... Cyberpunk 2070 game, right? That's a skin job, right? You take a chip, put it in someone's head, and the chip takes over, right? The chip thinks it's a real person, right? That's what an AI is. It thinks it's real, right? But it's programmed that way and makes you think it's real. And your imagination fills in the gaps. And your personality gets overwritten by, allegedly, of course, by the tendrils of the chip's ability to grow new neural pathways. How would it do that? Don't ask me. I'm not a rocket brain / cyberpunk scientist. It's all science fiction to me. But yeah, there are those technologists, and there's a lot of cyberpunk particularly is based on William Gibson's Neuromancer, which was based on the ramblings of the futurists of that day, where they thought, wouldn't it be cool if we could turn into robots, and all these other transhuman, post-human concepts, right? But they don't just want it for themselves. No. They want to impose their digital worldview on everybody, where you're locked in a digital prison, in a virtual so that there's nothing but peace and harmony, right? The whole Matrix thing, is the ramblings of the futurist society. It takes a genius how to figure it out, because a lot of their stuff is like, no word under 3 syllables. Right? If you want a dystopic nightmare, there is nothing more realistic or more dystopian than cyberpunk, right? Because it does feel real, and it's like you read 1984 and you think of the 1950s and 1960s, you go, yeah, that would have felt real to them. But today it does not feel real, right? Whereas cyberpunk is 1984 with a neon coat, and it feels real. So maybe in the future, when they're living in a cyberpunk city, they have their own dystopia. Oh no, green field, endless farmland and green fields and happy people. No, dystopia. But yeah, you will own nothing and you will be happy. But Cyberpunk Overdrive explores psychic power, sonics, 7 types of sonic powers into your games, meta healing, pyrokinesis, telepathy. And you're wondering why I'm ticking in. Well, if you've been a long time patron and read some of my writings and stuff, you know, this is what I've been working with and working on for years, and looking for backing. Yeah, and but there's lots of games. I mean, doesn't mean I'm quitting, just means I'm going to make sure my systems don't overlap with their systems, because these days everybody's litigious, right? Well, you got to be too. If you can't protect your IP, you're gone. You're wiped out of the market. Now, psychic powers with more than 50 psychic and non-psychic backgrounds, roles and gears. Yeah, mimic, energy, vampire, more. Radiohead and just a few. Yeah. I forget its name. I think the movie was called Dark Future, but it's based on something else. And Dark Future, there are psychics, right? And they can pretty much, they can tell. You can't hide from another psychic. There were psychics in Babylon 5. They did the same thing from Dark Future. Psychics are walk amongst us. They're hidden, but they create. But in order to take over, they become they put on the dark uniform, to inspire both fear and awe, and eventually, of course, they take over. But they take over, they get bored, right? But with any logic, right, you would immediately assume, right, if they had been a soft touch, they could have, and just bid their time, they could have easily manipulated their way into power. But, like everyone else, this is about the shortcuts to power in reality, right? Now, in Grim City, you could rub shoulders with the past, So there's fantasy elements, cyberpunk, psychics. This is actually pretty good. This looks like cyberpunk should. It's bright neon. It's depressing. It's got all the tech without the morals or constraints, legal constraints, right? Everything you need for a dark future of hackers, cyborgs, and psychotics. Right? Aren't they all psychotics? No, the rest are sociopaths. Get your head in the game, boy. All right. Next up, Forbidden Psalm. This one is interesting, and it's inspired by Morkborg. This is the End Times. 7 standalone games and 2 expansions. $9.95 gets you started. Again, this is inspired by and compatible with, but not created by, Morkborg. This is a rules-light, old-school game of heretics. You play various characters with a warband, just 5. And for enemies, you have monsters and hostiles with quick scenarios on a 2x2 battlefield. Right. There are elements you can lob in from and for $9.95 you get 4 complete miniature games, the standalone rulebooks. Now, if you pay $20.16 or more, you also get the bonus collection, 6 more titles, which includes a standalone game of evil cultists. If that isn't enough to entice you, I don't know what is. So, End Times edition. It is the End Times, set forth in a game of blood, metal, and death, inspired by and compatible with Morkborg. Recruit a warband of greedy souls to undertake the Mad Wizard's bidding. The Mad Wizard hasn't just bet on you. Before you see any of his coins, you have to face rivals, hunt ravenous monsters, and unearth dangerous relics as you search for the psalm itself. Now your warband is disposable. You'll suffer injuries and unleash horrible magic, but for the hardened survivors, the wealth of plunder awaits you. Use any miniatures you see fit. This is the definitive version of Forbidden Psalms. The original was published with the expansion in the footsteps of the Mad Wizard, which was in previous bundles. Don't ask which, it didn't say, but you usually can't get past bundles until they're revived. Now, Kill Sample Process is Cyborg from Morkborg and is compatible with other Psalm miniatures. Each player has a crew of 5. Your rivals, or you can cooperate or play solo. Now, you're living in the clouds of nanoswarms and the machine god. Your campaign takes you across the neon landscape of Psy, a rain-drenched world that should have ended but didn't. Now there's new campaign material such as rain, drones, drugs, weapons, new monsters, more rain, and 20 new hacking programs. That's a lot of hacking. Forbidden Psalm, The Last War. It's a standalone skirmish game based on Forbidden Psalm and inspired by historic wars. This is a world at its end. You face the horrors such as the trench, maggots, living clouds of poisonous gas, things from the fog, and many more horrors. Play with a crew of 5 per player against the horde of non-player monsters in various scenarios. It takes you across the wastes of the last war. Play head-to-head, cooperatively, or solitaire. There's new spells, new monsters, animals, haunted tanks, rules for tank warfare, weapons, armor, equipment, and a full campaign, and lots of mud. Did I say mud? I meant gore. Hope is for the dead. This one is about a haven, about scavenging and killing zombies, about surviving the end of the world. A deadly virus found in frozen lakes of Antarctica. What? Not the biolabs of China? How weak. Alright, so moving on. There's an outbreak, and soon after, the world ends. How long will your haven last? Now, you have to, obviously, typical survival game, try to survive. You have floors, you have feats that you can perform, and equipment. But unlike any other game, you don't buy, you scavenge. You have to keep upgrading. You have locations with unique scavenge tables, and each comes with hostiles, from the mutated infected to the infected animals, the bandits, and of course you have to fight off other survivors. There's no sharing. There's no communism, old chap. It's one push. It's one can of beans. There are 8 people and 1 can of beans. The survivor gets to eat. Good news, everybody. Meat is on the table. The bonus collection. Level up, which I recommend you do. You get the Forbidden Horrors. Forbidden Psalm, Endless Horrors. If you're wondering what's wrong, it's called dysgrammia. Okay, it's a language disorder. I am struggling every day in every way to read, to write, to speak. Some days are better than others. Endless Horrors from Between the Stars is a standalone skirmish where you fight evil cults. Do you fight for them or with them? Or against them? You decide. But the world needs to end. And that is what they've decided. And there are things between the stars that have come forth to make sure it happens. So, here you are, recruiting cultists and playing across a narrative campaign about you summoning horrors to bring about the end of days. Your cult is disposable. It's all for laughs. But not for you, of course. They're disposable. You unleash horrible magic on others so that they can't unleash it on you. But for the most zealous, power awaits. For your followers, no, that's power is for me, old chap. You go to the Russian front. Off to Ukraine with you. This has a full campaign, of course, but fighting for the enemy to survive, that is the real human experience, is it not? And it's this 3 standalone miniature games. Dread Knights. It's about a crew of demon slayers. You embark on 14 ready-made scenarios to test your skills, your cunning, your foresight, and luck. The night folk are the ones that take the fight to the beasts. Sometimes successful, other times not so much. That's why you have a disposable team. Hold the line, boys! I'm going for reinforcements! Mockbowl. Just outside Hogs's End, there are teams of Mockbowl. So, outside, in the fields outside the Hogs's End, the teams of the Mockbowl That's bowl, not ball. Play in the world's dumbest and yet, bloodiest and yet most popular game of them all, Book Bowl, where fouls win prizes, referees can be oopsied, and of course, even the mascots can join in the fun. This is a game of bloodshed, fame and glory. Of course, along the way, you collect the gold. It's a sport of cunning and brutality. Of course, it's all for fun until someone gets decapitated. But that's why you have a disposable team at your... Next! That is it. That's... Yes, the only thing I care about is that you got blood on my suit. Now, the cloth goblins, well, wandering in the woods one day, a strange thing happened to me. A tough goblin dropped on me. Oh, they're adorable. Haberdashery come alive. However, they're in the dark world. So now you have to survive the dark and twisted nights. They've built a fort, and they fight anything that comes forth from the dark woods. So you have a base building and defending game, create a can of your own goblins, and set forth to protect it from foul creatures in the darkness. So the Cuff Goblins are basically your disposable army. You're promised 2 expansions, and here they are. Collection of Death. A collection of previously published zines, freebies, and some new material to add to your game. This includes dead festivals, dead churches, forbidden wilderness, rotten bits, and more. Now, the Forbidden Seas, as it suggests, is to set sail on the Black Seas. The inky Inigo waters await those intrepid enough to cobble together what but pass by ship, grab your best eye patch, yo ho ho, give up oral hygiene, how British of you, and sail in this expansion for all things piratical. And if I've offended the British, too bad, so sad. You can't take a joke, old chap. Then if you can't take a joke, why do you keep electing them? I tell you. Pirates? Who needs pirates? In the UK, they're called internal revenue. The tax collector. The TV tax collector. And that fine for parking in your street at the wrong time. Collector. And then you get arrested for praying in the streets. Silently, of course. They just believed you were praying. I tell you, the jokes just write themselves. I just repeat them. Forbidden Psalms is just too modern. But Cough Goblin sounds fun. Mockball is hilarious. The End Times, and the Last War. Those for the price, is amazing for the price. I think this is the best valued bundle. This is the nice little hidden gem for Cyberpunk fans. This is for hilarious ball busters. And this, I think, is for serious role players. But it's fun for everybody. And this is all brought to you by my Patreon, where I have over 400 posts, 27 members, most of them free. You can join for free, get the notifications, and yeah. support me for as little as $1 a month. Hopefully, more of you join. Bring a friend. Let's up those numbers, shall we? Now, when you buy from Bundle Holding, it's all linked to DriveThruRPG. Now, not everything. There are some exclusives, and just as likely there are exclusives on DriveThruRPG. So, you cannot be a member of one without the other, right? But it's a one-way relationship. DriveThruRPG is the world's largest RPG download store, but you don't just get digital editions, although the vast majority apparently do. You can actually get physical books from them, usually through some print-on-demand server. Now, the Thicket, as you have gathered from the cover, is for the halls of Arden Vul. It's an old school revival. It's an Expedition Press product. This is an adventure set in the halls of Arden Vul. Now, the Green Fang kobolds have existed on the fringes of human settlements on the northern valley for decades, secured in the strange, thorny thicket surrounding the broken knob. Is there any other kind? Now, until recently, they were content to hunt, forage, and make themselves a general nuisance without any human contact. However, they're getting brave. They're starting to openly attack merchants. They're preying on caravanners and getting frisky with the travellers. One cannot have that. The peasants must be oppressed. Oppressed, I tell you. So set forth and take care of these formerly timid kobolds and make sure they... So let's make kobolds timid again, shall we? But, of course, along the way, do find out why the little rodents are hostile, shall we? Make sure that they're not part of some bigger plot, such as the... Well, I'm definitely not going to be able to say that, but something about an AK-23? Okay. So, well, of course, it's a woman. So there's a bitch queen out there who has been willing to fund an expedition to cleanse the Thicket for some reason. But what trouble do these kobolds really pose? So, you have 4 adventures in the valley, in the mega dungeon world of Arden Vul, which is the world of mages. Now, not directly linked to Arden Vul itself, there is compatible adventures set in that legendary location. So this is the world of Alandul, not in the hall of Alandul. So Alandul itself is not strictly necessary to play it, but it is in the same setting. And there are things in that product that will give you full details of this world. Conversely, there are some themes and elements to expand. And this will all sound familiar to seasoned players of the halls. By and large, there's material both new and fresh and expansive. Right? Each module is complete, self-contained. There's an overall meta hook. Right? You have the Thicket, the Tomb of Kala, Eye of Froth, and the Lost Symbol. Right? So there's actually a numerical number to all this to basically give you context. Now this is for experienced players, but it is actually a low-level adventure at the start. You start off levels 1 to 3. You could but if you basically try to steamroll this, you're going to end up quickly in hot water. This is in the design principles of the hall. Basically, it's a grind. It's a slow expedition. You're doing a lot of... Well, look at her. She definitely got a bee in her bonnet. She's hit the wall. Come on, chuds, have a laugh. Pocket Barbarian for 36 or XD6. You can, yeah. Basically, sword and sorcery for D6 games. Brawny Barbarians is about brandishing swords and battling dragons and trolls and dastardly sorcerers and bandits. And of course, terrors from the Outer Dark, the Mad Wizards, Vast Hordes. But there's gold, adventure. So if you've got some bloodlust to be settled, some bravado to show off, you just want to exercise your magic piggy or set up for revenge, sword and sorcery is for you for a handful of pennies. Pennies, I tell you. So it's a minimalist sword and sorcery game. That's it. Just once off, simple game. Now, if you happen to still play D&D, which some people do, Orcs of the Southern Kingdom might be for you. This is someone's convinced an Orc warlord that he can conquer the southern lands. Well, old chap, I'm sorry to tell you, but we're going to spoil your plans. And by we, I mean those 4 to 6 fellows over there. So this is a well-packaged professional project. This is a one-shot adventure for 5th edition fantasy. Role-playing. This isn't just another kill the orcs, save the villagers. Yes, it is, but there's brutality. There is those who commissioned the king. So it's not just about the evil plot, it's those behind it. But so you've got raids, you have 3-act series, yes. So there's the content, and you have a 3-act, right? You have a commission where you're set forth to investigate the raids, go after the goblins, and take down the fortress. All part of a major campaign. And this is actually a digital, so blah, 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 make pledge, right? You can get Orcs of the Southern Kingdom, but if you have a look, right, there's a whole bunch of other material, right? All the adventures, right? So you get this entire set for Canadian 95. So, yeah, which there are a lot of backers. Yeah, so again, this is all brought to you by I'm sponsored by you, the viewing audience. So please support me today. Thank you all for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please support the channel. Now you can support me on Ko-Fi, Patreon, buy my books, buy my merch. All my links are in the link tree, description below, in my profile, or scan the QR code. I appreciate each and every one of you. I don't appreciate the pollen. I have flowering wattle growing outside. And it really affects me. It's rare. Most of the time it does not affect me. Thank you. I appreciate each and every one of you. See you in the next video, and bye for now.